as it sits today, here is what I've got so far. Power. I've got my power coming in through my transformer. That's a 220 to 120 step down transformer. I've got power going from it down to my terminal block right down here. Had to do some jumpers to create more spaces in the terminal block for all the extra wires and such. So from the terminal block, we've got power routed to the power supply that is underneath the all-in-one DC board. I've got power going to, well, first it comes through the fuse right over here, one of these circuit breakers, and then it goes to the components necessary, right? 110 also goes to this transformer down here, which steps it down to about 80 something volts, which gets fed into this capacitor and the rectifier deal. That turns it into DC power. I think I've got 129 volts DC coming out of that, going into my all-in-one board. Got my VFD wired into its little input outputs here. I need to investigate that to make sure that that is correct. Double check all that. Powered it up. It does power up. The plug is drilled and the main cable coming from the console, it's all plugged into here. What else was there? I still have yet to do the servo motors. I've been rebuilding the encoder ends, putting the new encoders in there. Refitting Amphenol connectors. The astute of you will notice that I forgot to put my fitting parts on before I soldered those ends on, so I got to redo that. That's great. The mill is the mill. I need to let me rewind. So I was investigating limit switches because that thing needs to have limit switches in it, or needs to have signals from limit switches so you can actually properly home the machine. And if something happened, the Z-axis, I was investigating the limit switches, and this damn thing, I don't know how it worked, but it was completely packed full of frickin' chips. Like, how does that even happen? I don't know. I mean, it was supposedly an enclosed thing, right? So I don't really see any way for things to get in there other than this top cap that goes here. Well, there was a little hole to put the Z-axis scale wire through, and I'm thinking they just got real randy and was using this thing, and chips were flying everywhere, and they would fly up here and get stuck down into that hole, and it would fall in here, and dude, it was a mess. So what did I do? I took it all apart and cleaned it, ran parts through my ultrasonic cleaner, and I guess the recommendation from Mr. Marty that does a bunch of Centroid videos says that you need to use a special proximity sensor. And so I ordered some of those. They'll be here probably in the next week or so. And then I can fit the proximity sensor onto my axes of travel and then run those wires down to where they need to go over there. Yeah, it's been a lot of work. The ball screw turns pretty good. I did notice that this top bearing up here is an unshielded bearing. So obviously, you know, when chips were getting down in there, it may have messed up that bearing. So I'm gonna take her back apart again, do the right thing, put a shielded bearing there, and I may as well change out this one down here too. I don't know. So that's where we're sitting with this milling machine, retrofit. It's a decent part of kit. Trying to, you know, work through the schematics, and oh, I think I might need another one of these. Oh heck, what do you call them? I forgot what those things are called. Contactors. They're contactor relay or whatever they call it. It's calling for one that has four lines, and then 2 extra, you know, normally closed deals over here. So, yeah, I may have to buy some more parts. But all in all, it's coming together. Been sitting on that stool quite a bit, making a mess with wiring, and it's been a disaster. But hopefully I can get this thing squared away. I want to do 2 or 3 double checks, you know, trace wires, make sure that I have everything right. I did power up the console. Console does come on. Obviously it's got a few shortcomings, you know, not everything is hooked up, i.e. the limit switches and whatnot, so I can't really test the servos. I've got one servo squared away down there. That one there is ready to be plugged in. I just got to plug it in and run the wires. That is the Y-axis. I've got this one here done, plugged in, ready to go. And then the servo that hides up there is here on the bench, waiting for me to fix the wires on that. So, yep, moving along. So much information.